exhausted by life. Very also excited, I think he is, as you are to see him. He is to be with the consort, and the only thing that is going to inspire some serious movement in him is if she gets up and moves. She looks to me like she's settled in for the long haul. A couple of people in camp probably going to be looking very similar to these two lions after drive this morning. Quite an evening last night some of them had, by the sounds of things. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I won't tell you who they were, though. They know by the pounding in their heads. Proud Cat Mama, you're wondering about degenerative arthritis and whether or not he could be suffering from that. Proud Cat Mama, I don't know enough about it. In fact, I know absolutely nothing about degenerative arthritis. I think it's possible. I really don't understand how it could happen. It's not uncommon in male lions, and yeah, I don't know why this hip is not functioning properly, or why the muscles have withered away. That's what I don't understand. To me, it looks like there must be some kind of nerve damage for the muscles to have withered away. He's not using those muscles anymore. Either that, or he's hurt himself, or he's so arthritic that he doesn't want to use perhaps he doesn't want to use the leg, and so from a lack of use it's become withered. There, I mean, this mane is quite something. Now he's going to test whether she's ready or not to receive his advances. And he's an old, experienced fellow. This, ooh, bit of a box here. Dumb Shark, that's not a nice name you've given yourself, but you say, will male lions keep the instinct to mate? Ooh, here we go. Good grief. Scar on the job. Well, that's quite something. Dumb Shark, I don't think you will find male lions ever lose the ability to reproduce. I don't think that they ever get old enough that they are unable to reproduce. Is he not magnificent? And look how his left hip is absolutely fine. He's in need of a bit of a feed. I mean, that mane almost looks like it's too heavy for him. Oh, I'm being harried along here, sorry, by a large bus full of people. Let me just move out of the way so that it can go past. In fact, I don't think it wants to go past. I think it's telling me it wants to get closer. Sorry about this. Let's go up ahead and we'll turn around and come back. Alright, let's go back to South Africa while I try and negotiate the bus around here.
Well, just in case the 3 leopards weren't enough in one sighting, look who has also joined the party. So that is why Tingana has been looking to the north or to the south all the time, because there's a Birmingham boy that is lying just on the southern side of the leopard drama this morning. So it's really just ridiculous to have all males. It's obviously man day today, but there is male lion, 3 male leopards and 2 hyenas all in proximity of about 200 meters at the moment, which is just absolutely ridiculous. So we're just sitting in this area, waiting patiently. We'll go back towards the leopards once everybody else has gone through there, but this is the little surprise that was lying just to the south of the leopards, and why Tingana was looking a little bit on edge and looking southwards. And maybe that's what is part of the reason why he's not really too fussed about the young males. He's got more attention towards this area, knowing that there's a male lion around. That's maybe why he's a little bit more kind of concerned about this section. Now, as to which Birmingham it is, I was just saying to VM, I'm not 100% sure exactly which one. It looks a bit like in Suku, but I might be wrong. I have to see when they put their head up. I haven't really looked at him properly from the front just yet, but maybe some of you can ID him just from that left side. And it's definitely not Tinyo, that's for sure. His lip is not curled up on that left side, so it's not Tinyo that is lying there. So I think it's one of the... So Mary, you say this is the best drive ever. Well, we've got all the boys. I mean, to have Scar in the Mara, one of the Birmingham boys this side, the 3 male leopards, and it's just ridiculous. We have it being absolutely spoiled. So we've had a few quiet days between the Mara and us over the last 48 hours, and this has just blown it all out of the water completely with just the most ridiculous amount of cats. And it's strange how it's all in one place. It's amazing how we've gone driving around, not too many signs of anything, and all of a sudden there's just male lions and leopards all over. There's also a lilac-breasted roller nest, which she's now flown away from, unfortunately, but our lilac-breasted roller's got a nest just behind the Birmingham boy. So all happening in this little section, and look at those colours. Isn't that beautiful, with the greens of summer or spring in the background? Absolutely wonderful to see. And they'll often use marula trees to nest in. It's quite a common thing to actually see these guys nesting in these marulas, particularly where there's little holes that are there. Now, just to give you an idea of where we are in relation to the Birmingham. So we've got the Birmingham on my right hand side, and then to my left, in the 2 tall trees that are just poking over the horizon, is where Thamba is. So I think will be maybe a little bit to your left. Yeah, there we go. So Thamba's in one of those marulas. I can't see which one exactly, but he's in there somewhere. So that just gives you an idea of how far we are from the leopards. So that's where Thamba is, and then Hosana and Tingana lying down, Birmingham on the right hand side, and it's all just ridiculous actually. It's mornings like this that we really do kind of have to just shake our heads in sort of amazement at what can actually happen out here. And it just goes to show that you never know what's going to happen, and you never know what's around and what's going to sort of unfold during the course of a morning. And when we woke up this morning, we didn't really have too many plans, and we've just had the most insane morning. We've had 4 different hyenas, we've had the 3 leopards, we've got a male lion, we've had good birds. It's just been absolutely wonderful. Deb, you're wondering if a lion can be attacked when it's sleeping like this. Well, Deb, the thing is about lions when they're sleeping like this is, yes, they could be attacked, but the only thing that would attack them is other male lions. So, you know, Birmingham boy lying right out in the open like this by himself, generally he's going to be okay, because where he is at the moment is in the core of the Birmingham's territory. He would have heard other male lions calling, or would have picked up the scent, and so for him, he's not too phased, because he knows, well, you know, this is the core of my territory, I can just lie here and it'll all be okay. Also, if something did happen, he would vocalize, and the other Birminghams would probably try and come to his aid and try and get into this area and defend him as well. So he could be attacked by the males, but it's very, very unlikely as a dominant individual. The leopards themselves will never try and tangle with a male lion. They are far too big, far too powerful for for a leopard, and so the leopards know that. So they're not going to try and risk being hurt by going after something like this. Rather they would just leave it alone and move the opposite direction, and leave the males to themselves. So he's pretty much at ease like this. He doesn't have too much to worry about. The only things that would probably push him and make him move would be something like an elephant. That would be really the only thing that would probably move him, or big herd of buffalo, should it come past here, would also be something that would make him kind of take notice and probably move away. You can see he's just opening his eye now because there's another vehicle coming, so I'm hoping he's going to pop his head up just to see what's going on, and we can actually get a positive ID on who it is. Maybe some of you out there, like I say, have identified him from the left side of his face. Now he's not popped his head up at all, so there goes that idea, because the vehicle's now turned off. But So you guys are also unsure as to who it is, and some of you say maybe Mfumo. So I'm not 100% sure either, but just now he kind of turned his face and it looked like there was that scar under the right eye that Mfumo's got. So it could be him, and it's probably is right. Also, his mane is quite light in color. We know Mfumo has lots of light patches and not too much dark on his chest. Nena and Tinyo particularly are quite black on the chest area between the legs. And Suko I haven't seen for quite some time, so I don't know what his mane is looking like. So Mfumo seems a good guess. I hope that he'll pop his head up at some point. I can hear some monkeys alarm calling at the leopards in the background, so I'm hoping that will then allow him to kind of pop his head up and we'll be able to actually confirm who it is. But either way, it doesn't really matter. It's a male lion and it's awesome. So JC Charles, you're asking if male lions would form coalitions with their sons. Well, I've never seen it myself, but I have heard of it happening. So I believe there was a coalition in the Mara at one point. There was the Notch boys, or Notch and Sons, the original Notch, I think it was. I might be wrong, if it might be the wrong name, but I know there was a coalition in the Mara that had a male with his sons that walked around together. So it can happen. The likelihood of it happening, though, is very, very small. You'd probably find it would have to have a situation where maybe like a coalition like the Birminghams that say came under fire and 3 of them were killed, and it left 1 Birmingham, and he then came across his 6 sons that were 3 years old and decided just to stick with them as for safety reasons and to continue his dominance over the area. But that would be a very unusual situation and certainly not something that I've actually witnessed. I just have read about it happening from time to time, and it's a unique set of circumstances that will have to allow for that. And like I say, it's generally going to be a male lion that's on his own, that's trying to find some sort of partnership with others to be able to continue his dominance and to stay safe in an area that's filled with male lions. And so the Mara is a prime system for that. Also here in the Sabi Sands, if, like I say, the other 3 Birminghams potentially were killed, we might have that same situation happening, but chances of it are very slim. And at the end of the day, generally male lions are not actually going to try and make friends with their sons if they can avoid it, because obviously their sons are going to outlive them and probably chase them off at some point. Yeah, so it's a very unique thing to happen and not something that happens every day. There's the leopard. You can see the leopard now is coming out of the tree as well. So sorry, Vildi, is just in that big tree there. There you go. So there you can see that looks like Thamba that's coming down the tree at the moment, or at least going to go and find himself a place to lie. So that just gives you an idea of just how close we are to the lions. So the lions, leopards, it's all just happening. It's just a ridiculous situation that we're in at the moment. It really is so cool to see. And you can see the leopards aren't too perturbed. The lion's not perturbed. Everybody is just taking it easy. Like I say, it's Man Day. It is a Saturday after all, which in South Africa means most men are going to be watching some sort of sport and be indulging in all kinds of apple juices come the afternoon. So it seems as though venting around on a very cool Saturday morning. It's just really very cool to see 2 big cats in the same place, let alone the rest of them. Right, now, one person that might know about the male and the father and son coalitions of the Masai Mara would be Brent Smith. So let's go across to him and see if he has any more information about it.
Well, we're still with our big sausages, and indeed, Tristan, I've heard of the story of the mythical Notch boys. So, if I remember correctly, there were 5 Notch boys that were, in theory, they might have not been his son, but from the same pride as the Notch male. Now, what happened is when Notch got old and young males pushed him out of the pride, he actually left with the 5 boys, and as far as I know, this is the only record of it happening in Africa. And he then went on to obviously having a big group of young males, 5 of them, to keep him safe and help him fight. They went on to be a very successful male coalition in the Mara. There's unfortunately only one of his sons left, and I think that's Notch 2. Caesar died recently. Because when I first moved up here, we were seeing 2 of the Notch boys. Now there's only 1 Notch left. I might be wrong, but I think it was Caesar who died, and Notch 2 is the remaining. And his territory is around Lookout Hill. But they originally come from the Musera Marsh area. Now, every time I try to leave the big sausages, one lioness will get up and look, and a second lioness will get up and look. It gives me hope because they are hungry. They are really hungry. So at the moment, there's one of the adults with their head up, two of the adults, sorry, one who's lying a little bit further away. Oh, and then for the birders, Ferg, you see that bush over there, a little bit further to the left. There, is that it there? That's it there, here we go. A superb starling. Are you guys going to move? Are you going to sleep? Why don't you guys let me know what you would like me to do? Do you want me to stay with the big sausage pride? Or should I move on to see what other adventures we can have in the magical Masai Mara? Hashtag Safari Live. To quote The Clash, should I stay or should I go? Is Fergus fought the law and the law won for another Clash quote there. I rock the Caspar. There you go. I think we could do that.
Most of us are good at the Clash.
Yes, most of us get the Clash. Now, James is with male lions who are getting ready to make new little lions. Let's go have a look.
Well, they're not doing much of that anymore at the moment, but he has lifted his head, which is great, so maybe there will be a little bit more action coming up now. But at the moment, much sleepy for the lions. We didn't like that, you see that? What I find always so amazing about these sorts of sightings is that all around us there are things for these lions to eat. All in the distance, topi and zebra and various other things. And I suppose the same must go for South Africa. You just don't see them because, of course, at Djuma the bush is that much thicker. And so you don't have this slightly incongruous feeling of, well, here are the two lions and there are topi, zebra, warthog and various other things around about the place, some of them sort of settling down to lie down. They've all got very good eyes. They're just not at all threatened by a lion at this distance. The morning really has got very peaceful and very pleasant as we sit here, hoping that Scarface will perform once more for us. Once we've seen whether he's going to or not, we'll probably head down towards one of the crossing points and see what we can find down there. We had a huge crossing yesterday actually, so just bear that in mind. Keep your social media notifications active or whatever it is that you do, and if there is another wonderful crossing we'll definitely go live with that from the river cameras sometime today. Hello Riti, you say after mating will this pair stay together or will they separate? Riti, what they'll do is build a small home together. You know, he'll carry her across the threshold, that sort of thing, and then, well, they'll sort of set up in marital bliss for a while. No, Riti, they will split up, but they don't split up permanently, of course, because he looks after the territory, he and his coalition mates look after the territory. And so, you know, they will come across each other from time to time. And should this coupling result in cubs, what will happen is that the little ones, of course, will meet him, and he will be tolerant of them. But he won't spend time with her once they've mated. That will come to an end. Michelle, yes, they do sometimes. You say, will they ever hunt while they're paired up for mating? They do. From time to time, absolutely, they will get up and go hunting. Sometimes they share the duties. Most often she gets hungry, kills something, and he steals it. That's how it generally goes in male lion society. I'm afraid we're on the wrong side of him to watch his yawning. Ooh, here we go. And what's interesting here is that he is initiating all of this. He wakes her up. She looks a bit irritated. And then says, all right, come on then. Wasn't that astounding? She's gone back to sleep immediately. And it is amazing how a lion turns from being such a restful creature into something that looks so terrifying when he starts to lift his top lip and show his massive teeth. Limping around. No, he's just doing it. They often do this little bit of territorial marking after the mating, especially if they feel like the lady has been a little bit sort of strong with them, shown a bit of aggression, then they will mark their territories. Robert, you say when they're mating, how long will this go on for, this incessant sort of once every 15 minutes? Up to 5 or 6 days sometimes. That's what you'll read. I've seldom seen it going on for much more than, 5 days or so is about the longest I've seen it going on for. That was fantastically interesting. I think it's time to head off to one of the crossings now. After that has happened, I think we'll leave Scarface to his, his romantic Saturday morning over here. We're going to go back across to Tristan, who is still sitting with those magnificent leopards. What a sighting he has had today. How's that?
We are sitting with the leopards, so the male lion was still sleeping, so we decided to rather come back to our leopards and see what's gone on. So apparently Hosana chased a hyena across the airstrip, and he's now lying on the other side of the airstrip. Thamba's still up in his tree, just taking it very easy, and while Tingana apparently is passed out as flat could be. So it's everybody's now settling into their respective places, and I think settling down for the rest of the day. And you can see little Thamba is just grooming himself at the moment. He was watching Tingana for a while, watching the male lion for a while, and now he's just finding himself a spot to rest. But I think he's going to rest on the other side there. I don't think he's going to face us too much. He's kind of draped himself along, and there's a little branch that goes out where he is, so I think that's where he's going to position himself just to have a little bit of a nap, although it doesn't look very comfortable at all. You can see how he's using his back legs almost to hold him in place, and that's probably because he's seeing that male lion, so that's why he wants to face that direction, to be able to face the male lion. It's amazing, the camouflage of Hosana, though. It's quite cool, because we've got Thamba here, and then we've got to my right a hyena that's lying down. So it's like a straight line. If you just follow the dots, it's almost like connect the dots this morning. So here's my hyena over there, and that is just taking it very easy. And then if we go just up above the hyena to the right on the termite mound is Hosana sitting over there. So it's one straight line of predators. It's just ridiculous, isn't it, to have these guys all like this? It is absolutely insane. So Hosana's just watching from that side. He's probably decided termite mound is better than anywhere else, and so that's where I'm going to stay. You can see Thamba is watching also a couple monkeys that are alarm calling, which can see him. So he's got lots to look at, that's for sure. I didn't do it. His coat color is not because he's younger. Different individual leopards will have different coat colors. It's like much as us as people. We all have different skin tones and colors. So some are more gold than others, but he does have a particularly gold coat. Particularly in light like this, it seems to just kind of pop out a little bit. And then again in late afternoon golden light, his coat is richly dark gold. He's a very, very pretty cat. He's much darker than what Hosana is, and even Tingana. But it's not to do with age. It's all just to do with his genetics, and that he's just a slightly darker individual than some of the others. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around, because of the lion and the monkey's alarm calling in Tingana, I'm just going to hop around the other side of the tree so that we can actually see little Thamba's face and not look at just his backside and tail the whole time, because that's not going to be that pleasant. So what I'm going to do is just go back to where we were parked pretty much earlier. I don't want to park right underneath him because, well, I don't think we're going to get the best view of him. So I'm going to try and just go around and see if from where we were earlier, if that will be a little bit better. But you can see straight in front of me where the male lion is. He's just parking off directly in front there. Thanks for him. So that's where he's lying. So if you wanted to know just kind of proximities of these things, it really is ridiculous as how close everybody is. Faith in FC, all the way in the Masai Mara. Faith, you're wondering how old Thamba is. Well, Faith, Thamba was born in July of last year, so that makes him, what now? What are we... At the moment, we're in October now. Jeez, this year is running away with us. So he's now 15 months old, so still a young individual, but he is massive. He's big for his age, got big feet, and he is seriously one of the most beautiful cats that we get in this area. He has the most incredible eyes, and he really is my favorite out of all of them. I mean, look at that individual. He is absolutely mesmerizing. You can see he's got that pink nose, and he is going to be so big when he's older. He's got a bulky face and big neck and shoulders. He's going to be a serious individual when he gets a little bit older. Now, it is starting to rain a little bit, so I wonder if that's not going to drive Thamba to come down the tree. At the moment, he's busy watching Tingana, who's just off on our left-hand side, like I say, sleeping. And you can see now, look, he's stood up a little bit. And so I think it's because it's starting to rain. He's probably going to find that he's going to come out of the tree if it's raining and try and settle somewhere where it's at least a bit of vegetation and cover. And that's pretty much what we have to do too. We have to end up putting on covers and trying to seek some sort of shelter. So it's the same for leopards. But isn't that just magnificent? He is such a beautiful individual, this guy. We are spoilt when we get to see leopards like this. And so is Hosana at the end of the day. Our two young boys are both beautiful individuals. Denise, leopards, they are on the endangered list, but they're not critically endangered or anything like that. There's still a number of leopards throughout Africa. The thing about a leopard is it's able to survive in places that no other cats can, and they are widely spread and distributed through Africa. You find them in forests, you find them in mountainous areas, you find them in savannas like what we're in now. So deserts, they can really survive anywhere. And so they're probably, of all the big cats, the least endangered. You'll find obviously cheetah is the most endangered and lions fast following behind them, and we're losing a number of lions quite quickly. Oh, look at the agility of these guys. Absolutely amazing. Have you found yourself a better place to lie down, Thamba? He's almost sniffing around, I think, trying to just see if there's any more. And look at those big eyes. He's such a curious cat as well, and it's one of the reasons why I love spending time with Thamba, is because he's always up to something. He's always curious. Right, now while we watch Thamba sniff around and get our rain covers on, I believe Brent's lions are starting to stalk, so let's jump across to him quickly.
Well, can you believe this is different lions? It's not the ones we just left. We've probably traveled about not even a kilometer, and I suddenly just spotted this slinking movement in the long grass, and I'm not sure which pride, maybe Mogoro pride in this area. She's about 100 meters or so from the zebra at the moment, and Welcome everyone on Facebook. We're with a lioness who's been slinking towards a big herd of zebra that are walking unawares across the front of her. Now, I've only managed to spot one lion so far. There could be others around. My name is Brent Leo Smith. I have Fergus Clark on camera. And there are the zebras. And there's a very heavily pregnant zebra. Now, that would make it a bit slower. Okay, she's on the move again. So the zebras are completely unaware that she's here. Now, as I said, there could be other lionesses skulking through different parts of the grass. She's moving quite quickly. I think she spotted that heavily pregnant zebra, and that is what she's going to go for. Not going to be able to move as well as the others, but if they spot her before she gets too close, there will be a chance. Now, the way she's looking... So, welcome everyone on Facebook. We have a lioness stalking towards zebra. There's a very heavily pregnant zebra just up ahead, and I think that's the one she's made eyes for. Now, I can only see one lion as she slinks through the grass. There could very easily be more around in different ambush positions, and she's looking very hungry. It's a lovely cool morning here in Kenya. Remember, this is 100% live. I'd love to hear from you. Pop on the feed below. Now, she keeps looking in our direction. There could be another lioness around. She could be just checking if there are more zebra coming from behind us, which they're not. There we go. Off she goes again. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move a little bit closer. Now, we're very careful when lions are hunting to make sure we don't disturb either the zebra or them. So I will be keeping my distance. And I just want to get us some height, because I think she's going to go low in the grass where we can't see her. My name is Brent Leo Smith. I have Fergus Clark on camera, and you are on a live lion hunt in the Masai Mara in Kenya. Okay, so what I want to do is make sure we're in the best position to see where she's going to go without interfering. So we don't want to drive too close to the lion. We don't want to drive too close to the zebra. We want to put ourselves in a position where we can watch everything that's going on without interfering. And as I say, I'd love to hear from you. Pop on the feed below. I've just lost sight of the lioness, but she is slinking. Riti wants to know which pride this is. I'm not sure, Riti. I think it could be the Mogoro pride, but I've only seen one lioness, so I'm not 100% sure. Okay, there we go. We're going to get into the spot now. Just want to get past this big hole. So we're far enough away from the zebra and the lions not to interfere in the hunt. Now, the zebra are nonchalantly walking away. Now, that is creating a bit of distance, but there are other zebra around. See, she keeps checking behind. I wonder if there's another lioness down the road. There we go. You can see she's watching very intently. If you could just hear that, almost like a strange donkey, that was actually the zebras talking to each other. Oh, she's a pretty girl. Now, lions, when they hunt, they use visual communication to coordinate the hunt so they don't make a sound. Has she seen something else that's behind us? She's definitely locked into something. Okay, I'm just going to move the car again. There could be more animals behind us. There are more zebra and topi, and they're not walking. Let me just, try to get level ground for Fergus. So there are zebra and topi there. There's zebra off to the right of us. She is hungry. She's just disappeared behind that little bush. There she's popping up now. Wait, a little bit to the right, I think, Ferg. Am I looking at the wrong bush? And she's come out from behind the... See, the wrong bush. There we go. So she's still stalking. Now, sometimes you can see how low she's keeping. She's trying to make sure her head doesn't pop too much out of the grass. She's got to cover a bit of open ground, and she'll normally do that reasonably quickly. So I think she's decided to go for the zebra that are actually walking slowly in this direction rather than the zebra that are walking away from her. Yeah, you can see how her head doesn't move when she locks. Now Roshni's wondering, is this lioness all by herself? Roshni, maybe. As I say, there's a lot of grass and a lot of places to hide. There we go. She's moving much quicker towards the zebras that are walking this way. Now they're still quite far away. The other zebras she was initially stalking have spotted her. You might hear a snort in the background. But there's enough distance that the zebras she's eyeing and the topi she's eyeing will not take notice of the zebra here. Now remember, this is 100% live. We cannot predict what's going to happen. So I am going to move again just because she's changed direction now. And as I say, we're not going to drive right behind her or right near her. We're going to keep quite parallel. And this is very exciting. And it is absolutely incredible that we are able to bring you this 100% live. You are seeing a lion hunt in the late morning in the Masai Mara in Kenya. Just want to see where she is. Now, Michelle's wondering if I can tell whether she has cubs to feed. I can, Michelle, and from having looked at her belly, there are no suckle marks, so she probably does not have cubs presently. Now she's staring down towards the zebra. So, down in front of us are the zebra. Roshni is saying she loves the way that the lion's muscles move when she walks. Now, unfortunately for her, there is a topi there as well. Now, topi are often called the policemen of the Mara. They are incredibly alert animals and will pick up on movement very quickly. But they haven't seen her yet. They just have their heads up because that's the way they like to do it. The topi, they're very, very, very alert. Oh, she's changing her mind again. There we go, wrong bush again, Ferg. So she was looking back towards the zebras behind us, but they've actually moved quite a long way off. So slowly but surely the zebra in front are grazing and moving towards where she is. So she might decide to wait it out. I don't think she will. I think she's hungry enough that she's going to try sneak a bit closer, waiting for the topi to stop watching. You can see that laser-like focus. A lot of the lions will hunt upwind on purpose or down. They don't. They just generally, they use their eyes, and what they can see they will hunt regardless of wind direction. Now, of course, as I say, this is 100% live. You never know what's going to happen next. I'm pretty confident she's going to move. There we go. But she could also just lie down and wait in ambush. Like that. Now, the zebra are moving or walking, but they're not walking directly towards her anymore, which might prompt a bit more movement. So they haven't seen her. They're just walking in a different direction. There they go. Ideally, she'll try find a young one or one that's carrying an injury. So lions will often glance the herd, or even a heavily pregnant female, anything that makes it slightly harder to catch. Because, of course, a lot of these animals are adept at avoiding being eaten. So there's probably about 300, no, maybe not that far, 200 meters between her and the zebras. I still think she might stalk a bit closer. Particularly if the zebras keep moving that direction, she might cut the line in front of us and try to get into a better ambush spot for where the zebras are heading. She's definitely still got her head still up. She's still focused on what is going on around her. Ilwyn is wondering, will a lone lioness be able to bring down an adult full-grown zebra? Indeed, it definitely she can. They are incredibly powerful animals. Oh, the zebras have started changing their line slightly. They are moving a little bit closer, so they actually they keep zigging and zagging. And for her, it's better because they're moving away from the topi and its very sharp eyesight. Not that zebras have bad eyesight, it's just the topis are generally far more aware of what's going on. Now, I do see two male zebra chasing each other, but they're a bit far. That's another type of thing that the lions will look for. If the animals are distracted with their own ongoings, like chasing each other about, it's always a good time to sneak in and take advantage. Rishi is wondering, what area of the Mara are we in currently? Best way to describe it is we about 3/4 of the way between the escarpment and the Serena Ridge. I suppose is that the best way I can describe it. So the Serena Ridge is probably 1.5 kilometers or 2 kilometers behind us, and the base of the escarpment 4 to 5 kilometers ahead of us. Lion run to make a kill. Ali, their optimum distance is actually sort of under 20 meters, where they can use their incredible explosive speed. So they can go very fast over very short distances, but they can't keep it up for too long. So what we can sort of, they want to be sort of a minimum 30 meters. They'd prefer it to be 10, 15 meters away, where that explosive speed really comes to the foreground. Now, that zebra we're looking at now is the closest to the lioness, but she still hasn't moved. You can see she's still there. There are some other game drive vehicles joining. I think these zebra have chosen the right way to walk, and they're going to get away for now, but that doesn't mean she's going to not get up and hunt again shortly. So I think for now we're going to say goodbye, but I'm not going to leave her. She's hungry. It's a cool morning. I think she's going to hunt again. So keep a lookout on those Facebook notifications, because you never know when Safari Live will be live with you again. Okay, well, we're going to sit here with this gorgeous lioness, and I think she will get on the hunt again a little bit later. But while we do that, let's go across to my very good friend, Commander Bond, who's next to the river.
One would assume that the lioness will get up eventually unless she's dead, but that's just a sort of macabre joke. We've got some very interesting stuff going on here. We're at the main north and south crossings. Those are Eland heading directly towards the main south crossing, which is quite exciting. I'm quite interested, I'm probably more interested in that than I am in what Craig is now going to show you. Topi and zebra massing at the main north crossing there. They have been prevaricating, as they do endlessly, They've been going down to have a drink, scuttling up again, giving each other a fright, kicking one another, and then standing there looking confused and dazed about life. But I think this eland one could be quite interesting, simply because we have not seen eland crossing. Have we seen an eland crossing? I'm not sure that we have. So I'm going to sit right here for the next little while. We may have to drive very quickly down towards Main South crossing for those eland. You know, the number of times I've watched animals massing where we've watched the topi and the zebra, and the number of times they haven't crossed. I think let's move now. If you don't mind, Craig, you know, even if you do mind, I'm going to do it anyway. I know that's very nasty of me, but I'm going to do it. I don't care. I don't care what you say. Craig's looking hurt and upset, aren't you, Craig? Very. See, he coughed because he was in tears. There's also some more zebra coming down here. Even if we don't get this while we're on drive, keep an eye on the river cams today, because there could be some action. Hold on, Craig. This is going to get rough. In order to get to Main South, we've got to drive most of the way to Tanzania and back. No, we don't. It's just round here. That's a very good question from Ashton as we watch the eland now completely avoiding the crossing point, which is very irritating. You say, how do they, without learning the hard way, how do animals learn what's dangerous and what is not? I think there's a real mix of nature and nurture. I think that animals are, something like a human being, for example, is terrifying to most animals. Straight away from birth. There's no kind of learned behavior there that has come through many, many millions of years of evolutionary and now genetic experience. And I think sometimes there is, for example, the wildebeest doing their crossings and their experiences during their migration. I think they learn quite a lot just from watching the older ones, and possibly from watching their colleagues being taken out. No, unfortunately, these guys are not going anywhere near the crossing now. They're just moving that away across from the crossing. So, no, they don't seem to be very excited about having a swim this morning. Then I will show you some canaries, which are not going to cross, and if they do, well, they'll probably escape the crocodiles on account of the fact that they are flyers rather than swimmers. There they are. See them, Craig? They look like little lemon drops on the floor. There's a small group of zebra coming down this way as well. They may make it to the crossing. This has been our most active crossing throughout the course of the year. See them there, Craig, over the top of my head. And this is where we've watched the Paradise Pride launch their attacks from the bushes. They could be there now, thinking about zebra breakfast. Zaken, as they call it. Did you get that, Craig? Get that hilarious joke I just made? I'm sure you are. I can see one very good reason why they might not come down and become Zaken. There is, you can see a very large crocodile lying in the middle of the path where they would come down. Craig, I don't feel like you appreciated that quite as much as you should have. There's a deathly hush from the final control. I don't think they found it very funny either. Faith says they're laughing so hard they've gone silent. If you are wondering, if you are perhaps haven't been watching the last few days, if you're wondering who I'm talking about, who Faith is our new director, and she's just getting into the swing of the main directing role, or D1 as we call it. Doing a very good job, Faith. Obviously, I wouldn't say you were doing a bad job while we were live. Another lemon drop off to the right-hand side here, and then I think we'll carry on. Isn't that pretty? I might just have to do one small illegal thing. Craig, could you start coughing now? Louder. Okay. We're going to leave these crossings. I think we're going to just keep looking at them from the river cams. They are moving around the animals now. Don't look like they're going to cross at the moment. Prevaricating, wafting about. Let's go back across to South Africa, where Thamba, the green-eyed, big ears, seems to be arboreal.
Well, unfortunately, little Thamba has run away. He came down the tree and he's now trotting away to get out of the way of Tingana and Hosana. And so there's Tingana watching Thamba running down the airstrip. Hosana's on the other side, and so I think little Thamba has decided this is too many leopards for me, I'm out of here, and has run. And you can see Tingana is just watching, and Thamba, I can see him just in the distance trotting now. He's going straight towards Chitwa Lodge, so maybe he's going to go to where he feels a lot safer, which is in the lodge itself. But Tingana's not really chasing after him, he's just watching and kind of looking, and Hosana's not really doing anything either. So I think Thamba, unfortunately, just lost his nerve a little bit. There's Hosana on the other side there somewhere. But what I did want to show you guys, which is really very interesting, and I'm just going to try and go forward a little bit so that VM can put it on camera for you, is just the amount of abuse this poor marula tree has taken over this week, the course of this week. If we have a look here, well, here comes Tingana anyway, so he might come up into the tree, but if we have a look at the tree itself, look at how damaged this tree is from all the claws going up and down. So that's chunks of bark that have been pulled off via these leopards climbing, and there's actually one big cut from where the lions have climbed. So a leopard would never leave a gouge that big, but that is from where the male lions climbed themselves. So they leave much deeper, bigger gouges in the trees. So you can see the difference between lion, that's on the left there, and then the leopards are the smaller little ones that are dotted in between all of it. It's absolutely insane to see the difference between all of the markings and how much abuse this poor tree has taken with all these big cats going up and down it all the time. Now, of course, the tree itself will be okay. There goes Tingana. He's trotting after Thamba at the moment. So you can see there goes Thamba. Thumba's running off, and so is Tingana. So we're going to try see if we can keep up with them. I don't know if we're going to be able to, but I'm going to try and keep up with them. But Tingana is now chasing, for some reason, chasing Thamba. He's been fine the whole morning, and now all of a sudden, with Thamba kind of retreating, it's almost like Tingana now has to assert himself and has to actually chase back. So it's a really weird thing to see. I didn't expect him to be doing it, but let's try and see if we can keep up. Obviously, poor Hosana is just sitting on the other side. He's not worried. He's probably quite thankful that he's not being chased this morning, and that it's rather Thamba that's getting the runaround. Sorry, guys. So there's Tingana in front. I can still see him. I can't see Thamba anymore. Sola, who's a new viewer, welcome Sola to Safari Live and to the biggest game drive vehicle in the world. You asking, is this really live? Yes, we are 100% live from South Africa and the Masai Mara. There you can see, look, Thamba's running on that side, and there's Tingana in the foreground. So Tingana is busy chasing behind him. Now, Thamba, you need to watch yourself, because Tingana sometimes can be a little bit on the difficult side and can be quite a handful. So you see Tingana, every time Thamba turns his back, Tingana chases after him, and Thamba is trotting away with his nose down, smelling. And so this is not a great situation for Thamba. He needs to get out of here and try and leave this area as quick as possible so that Tingana stops chasing him. And there's Tingana straight behind him, also running in. And so we're going to keep up with them as long as we can. And hopefully we'll have a situation where just basically asserting himself and making sure everyone understands that he's the dominant male. So it's not nasty leopard or anything like that. He's just making sure these young boys understand that he's the big guy. And actually, there we go, he's turned now and he's just scent marking. So he's giving a very visual display as well as a chemical display to Thamba. This is my territory, this is where I am. You guys are okay here if you just behave yourselves and don't scent mark and don't try and take my females. So there's a very clear message that has been sent to Thamba that Tingana is still the king of this particular area, or the Duke as we like to call him. You can see he's looking over his shoulder a little bit, but at least it's all settled down. So Umka, you're asking, do leopards claw trees and mark them as tigers would and use them for territorial markings? No, not really. They basically, what happens with the leopard is it will use a tree to be able to sharpen its claws, but other than that it's not really using it for a scent marking purpose. Now VM says he heard some growling down here and some vocalizing, so we're just quickly going to check. Maybe there's another leopard that's arrived here. I know Thamba ran this way, but I just want to double check and see if there is anything. Now I apologize if there's some spots of rain on the lens. It is still raining a little bit, and we're getting a whole bunch more rain. No, I think Thamba's run a long way. He's already gone down past the airstrip. So I think that's it for Thamba. He's disappeared into the lodge itself. The guys are telling me he's in the lodge itself, so we're going to leave him there. And you can see the hyena still lying on the airstrip. Oh, it's just chaos. There's just stuff everywhere at the moment. It's pretty insane. Tingana seems to have given up. He's now wandering back towards his tree, so he's happy that he's seen off one young male. Now I wonder if he's going to come back towards Hosana and maybe just kind of assert himself on Hosana as well. But Tingana should be where there he is. He's just striding off on my right hand side, so I want to just get a little bit further forward to where Hosana is in case Tingana decides that he wants to come and push Hosana around as well. I think Hosana's run too, so Hosana has also run. He's not on his termite mount anymore, so it's just Tingana that is left now. I don't know where Hosana has gone. Mount to my left. Yeah, maybe he saw Tingana chasing Thamba and thought, to get out of here, I'm gonna get myself away from this area and get myself into some sort of safety. So I do apologize if you see VM wiping the lens. Unfortunately, like I say, there is a bit of rain, and so when we're driving in big open spaces like the airstrip, a lot of rain will fall and then hit the lens, so I do apologize about that. You can see Hyena is now off. Hyena's walking in the same direction as to where Hosana was earlier, so I wonder if maybe he's also just kind of a bit confused as to why all these leopards have just scattered all of a sudden. So it's going to be interesting just to see what happens here and who ends up going where. Tingana seems to have laid down now. He's not interested in doing anything, and I have no idea, like I say, where Hosana is gone. So that's pretty much the distribution of all of our leopards in one little go. It's amazing how quickly it happens. We'll go back towards Tingana just to see where he's moving to. He's just slinking away, slinking. Maybe this is going to be better for him. So let's see. Now it's not the easiest to know. An individual that's kind of walking through quite a thick, dense place, and his tummy looks really full as well. So I wonder if he hasn't had another meal since these two impalas, and that's why he also wasn't so frustrated about having these young boys around feeding as well. But it just amazes me how it's gone from this relaxed demeanor where Tingana's watching Thamba's feeding, Hosana's around, to all of a sudden Tingana not really happy and chasing Thamba. And I think it was instigated by the fact that Thamba actually started to run. Jared's buddy, you are saying maybe Thamba was scent marking and Tingana didn't like that. No. So what happened was Thamba was in the tree and little Thamba then came down the tree and immediately started running. As soon as he started running, that's when Tingana became a little bit more interested in what was. I think what happened was Thamba saw Tingana low down right near the tree and he got a little bit scared, and that's why he ended up now. Tingana is just busy watching in and looking up into the tree to see if there's any scraps for him. So I don't think there's going to be too much. So I'm going to try just get one last view. I don't really have much time left. And so while he's kind of just at the base of the tree, we're going to just try and sneak in. There we go. So it's not a great view, but it's... There we go, at least a view for the last little bit. But a lot of you are saying what a crazy drive we've had. It has been just the most insane drive. To think that we've had the famous Scar, we've had Birmingham Boys, we've had Tingana, Thamba, Hosana. It has just been absolutely unbelievable, and we've had interaction between them, we've had feeding. It's just been so insane, and in the perfect way really to kick off a Kata Day, that's for sure. So I think Tingana is going to give us one last incredible show as he goes up the tree. Yep, there we go. Look at the skill and power of a male leopard as he goes up. Well, what a way to finish our sunrise safari. It's been an absolute pleasure. So from Brent and James and myself, we'll see you all in the afternoon.